Hi, good morning or good evening, everyone. Yes, in this section, so we are going to discuss that one of the small concept from the Linux, so which is more powerful and it will be helpful more. Yes, whenever we are running this long format of the commands. Yes, that's it's going to helpful that. So what about that says aliases? Yeah, but what about these aliases and how do we use this alias and how do we create that alias? So creating or working with that aliases, yes, how do we define that temporarily if it is required these aliases, how do we define it? Or if we need that repeatedly to use it that these aliases, how do you persistent these aliases? Yeah, the first let's look into that what is alias and how that alias is going to help us. Then we'll come back to that, the creating and the persisting about aliases. Yeah, what is aliases is, so it is like just a shortcuts. Suppose if you just observe that, the whenever we are running this Linux command, maybe you would have observed that we are using this commands that is simple like ll command. So what is this ll command which I run it? There is shortcut. Actually, the we are learning this the command ls, and if you need that long list l or th, use it all these options. And if you need that color format, yes, use it hyphen color. Yeah, so this is a long format of that ls command. Actually, if you like to daily use it, that this ls with the proper format with long listing and date format and reverse of this the format and size in human readable format if you'd like to give it, yes, this much command this length of the command you need to use it that. But every day whenever I'm going to use it ls like typing that complete with all the arguments, that is a headache to us, right? Yeah, it is not an easy remembering that and typing that, and you need to have attention while typing that. So instead of doing that, can I just write it as can I do that like ll if I enter it, then it has to execute it complete this command. That means we can say this is a shortcut name, a shortcut of this command with simple I would like to call that ll. Yeah, so is it possible, do we have that mechanism from the Linux system to handle that? So that's like a commands which you have this like a long format or long options. So each and every time giving that all these options and running the command, it is very difficult. So what the operating system is supporting this is, yes, you can define that the short names mapping to this the format, and we can use it just this like alias name for that. But whenever we are running the ll, so it is already giving that or it is working that's giving that output, right? That means this alias already has been created. But how do I know that list of all the aliases which are available or which are created on this system or current system where you're working? So just if you run that alias command, then you can see this list of all the aliases which are available in this current system. Yeah, now you see this like we have egrep is one shortcut name for this long command, and empty files is one more thing which is having that, yes, this the another one, the fgraph or grep or ls and ll which I'm frequently which I use it, yes, ll ls hyphen l and color with auto representations, and vi if I'm running that directly indirectly is in that vim, and which command whenever I use it, yes, this is the format of the command which is running. Yeah, like this like a long duration of this a long format of that with long options and parameters whenever you are passing that, and those commands if you would like to use it very frequently, yes, instead of that create one short names. Suppose uh, like um I have entered some command ls hyphen lrth lr, okay. Yeah, so I had just run the some commands in this command prompt. Normally, if you would like to clear it, what do we do to that? On the Windows, we have the command that is cls. On the Windows, if you would like to clear the command prompt, then we have the cls command. But that cls is not working here. If you'd like to clear it, what is the command we need to use it? Clear is the command. But I am habituated to work with that as a Windows system point of view. CLS, I'm very comfortable with that using CLS command. But CLS we don't have this on the Linux system. Now can I create the CLS command on the Linux system? Yes. So CLS, if I run it, indirectly it has to run it clear. So what is the option we can use it? We can create an alias for the clear by giving the name as CLS, right? Yeah, how to create aliases? Yes, just we are understanding before how do we view the aliases. So we don't have those any CLS options. Now I need to have those my custom the command point of view on the alias name. That is the CLS. If I just run it, it has to use it clear command. But how I can create alias? Yeah, so what we can do this is alias and the name of the shortcut name which you would like to use it, and the command which you would like to run it. The command in the double quotation, you can mention that, or you can use the single quotation also, no issues on it. Yeah, now if I define like this alias, so far CLS was not running right before. Now if I run the CLS, you see this, so that is running that the alias name which has been given, that is clear, it is running that. Yeah, so wherever it is required, just I can run that CLS. I don't need to struggle with that CLEAR. So clear also you can use it, no issues. But as it's simplifying about the commands, that is a long list format of that options and the long commands, you can make it the shortcut by using aliases. Yes, now if I just entered that alias, now you see that CLS is the alias name, and for that which we have this is the clear is the command which is going to execute it. Like that, so it is defined that some empty files. Suppose if I'd like to find that all the empty files in the current system, so what is the command now? What do I need to write it? The find. So which directory are you going to look in that? All the empty files hyphen type f, and then which we need to pass it as that is empty. Then it is going to return that all the empty files. But each and every time typing this complete with all the arguments, so type and the location and hyphen type and f and hyphen empty. So I don't want to pass it all the arguments. Can I create a short name for this? Yeah, so I can use it that alias and with a name like as empty something like a files which I can give the name as, and the command, what are the command I would like to run it with is just I can take the command and I can define the command over here. If I enter it, then I can just run that empty files. If I run it, yes, it is going to return that command output. Yeah, this is one of the beautiful command as like some of the commands, as if you are familiar with that Windows and the same commands you would like to run it on the Linux systems, or on the Linux system you are good with some commands and same commands you would like to run it on the Windows, then you can create aliases and you can use those alias names. Yeah, so that is the point which we have this the alias, how to create it and how to view that list of all the aliases which have been created. And one more point, yes, if I exit here, yes, I exited that user. Yes, I exited. And if I relog in once again, I can go back. That's exit. Oh, we have so many exits, but let me quit that. Okay, I have quit it, and again let me log into this system. But the points what we are trying to understand it, whatever I have set up those aliases, still those aliases are available or those are not available. What is the status of it? Suppose if I go for this running the CLS, do you see this now? The command not found. It means whatever the alias which I was setting that before, now it is not available once if I log off it and I relog into the system. That means the variable or aliases which I was setting that was temporarily, not permanently. Until the session is available, the user login session, then those aliases are available. But once you log off and relog in, then we'll be losing that all the temporary aliases which are created. But how I can create it permanently about these aliases? Yeah, so what is the file that's we call it as? We call it as a bash files, bash profiles. In the bash profile, if we define that these aliases, and whenever during login time, these bash profiles, bash RC files which will be executed, and whatever you have defined in the bash profiles, automatically those variables which will be loaded into the session. Yeah, now I lost that's all the aliases which I was creating before. But if I would like to need that the permanently, that means whenever I log in, still that those should be there. Then what we can do this is in our user home directory, we have like a bash RC file, and within the bash RC file, in the user specific aliases and function is one section, and here you can define that about our custom aliases are custom variables also. But what is the variable? I'll come back in the next section. So here we can define that aliases. Now whatever we define, that's in the terminal alias cls, that's equals, that is like as a clear. And one more alias, empty files, that's equal to, and I would like to run the command find dot and then hyphen type f and hyphen empty files. I would like to get it that. Yeah, so like this, what all like aliases which you have, you can define it and you can use it here. And then let me save this, and after saving also, if you just run it cls once again, so it is not working. So it is not working. Still at least one time we need to run it, right? Yes, we need to run it. We need to execute that bash profile. But how do you run it is, yes, the source, the user home directory, whatever the file we have, the bash rc, we just source it that. Then if you run it cls, yes, it's working. Or if I run that empty files, yes, now empty files is the command. It is like as a command, but background what is the command it is running is, that is a find command whatever we have defined in that empty files alias. Yes, that command is it is going to execute it. Yeah, this is very good utility for that administrators whenever we are working with that some important commands and very frequently commands, and with the arguments passing this and the long format of the commands. If you have this anything, then create alias and define this in the bash rc file and reuse that these commands with the shortcut names. Yeah, so that is the advantage of this alias names. Yeah, that is viewing that all the list of all aliases. How do you do that? Alias is a command. And how do you set that alias name? Alias name equal to, alias name equal to, and the command which you would like to run it. But if I would like to remove the alias name, how I can remove the alias name? Yeah, so simple, which we can use it, unalias. Unalias is the command, and which you would like to remove that, something like I would like to remove that empty files. Yes, that alias name, if we just pause it, yes, that's alias name which will be unset. Now if I check it, that alias, do you have those empty files? No, we don't have those any empty files alias, and that has been deleted. And if I run that empty files, now you see this command not found. Yeah, unalias is the command which is going to helpful to remove the alias names. And how do you set up that? Alias name and value. And how do we that list of all the aliases? Alias is the command, and alias name with value, and unalias and the name of that. And permanently to use these aliases, define this in the bash rc file of the user home directory. Yeah, so this is one concept, simple and very beautiful for about our administrators. Instead of struggling with that long list of all the commands each and every time running that, just to create one alias and use that alias name whenever you are running the commands. Yeah, so that's all from this section on this alias, and we'll see this in the next section, one more important concept. Yeah, thank you.